The silence is the first thing to return, not a gradual quiet, but a sudden, profound hush that falls across the globe as the last human voice fades. In the first hours, the planet's electrical grid, a vast, crackling nervous system built over a century, begins to fail. City after city blinks out, plunging the nights back into a darkness unseen for millennia. Automated systems, from nuclear power plants to subway pumps, execute their final commands before succumbing to entropy. For a few days, a week at most, the world runs on the ghosts of our intentions. Then it stops. 1 year after our departure, the great reclamation begins. Without maintenance, the delicate balance of our urban ecosystems collapses. In cities like New York and London, the underground pumps that held back the water table fall silent. Subways become subterranean rivers, their tunnels filling with a murky brew. The foundations of skyscrapers, once anchored in dry earth, are now saturated, beginning a slow, inexorable process of decay. On the surface, nature, the patient opportunist, starts to probe the weaknesses of our world. Dandelions and hardy weeds sprout from cracks in the pavement. Ivy, a relentless green tide, begins its slow ascent up the glass and steel faces of our proudest towers. 100 years post-Homo sapiens, the world we built is a ruin, but a recognizable one. The steel skeletons of bridges, like the Golden Gate, are painted a deep, uniform rust, their massive cables beginning to snap under the strain of corrosion and neglect. The Hoover Dam, a monument to our ability to tame rivers, might still stand, but its turbines are long silent. The immense pressure of Lake Mead, a constant, patient force against the weakening concrete. Forests, once pushed to the margins, now march back into the suburbs. Deer graze on the overgrown lawns of forgotten cul-de-sacs, and bears den in the hollowed-out shells of suburban homes. Our cities are no longer ours. They are vertical jungles, concrete canyons threaded with green. The asphalt arteries of our highways have been pulverized into gravel by countless cycles of freezing and thawing, their paths slowly being erased by encroaching soil and vegetation. This is the fate of our grandest works. The Great Wall of China, already ancient when we vanished, becomes a long, meandering ridge of earth and stone, its watchtowers crumbling into mounds barely distinguishable from natural hills. The pyramids of Giza, masters of endurance, will persist, their limestone faces scoured by sand and wind, but their context, the civilization that gave them meaning, is gone. They become geological anomalies, strange triangular mountains in a sea of sand. Our modern structures, built with steel rebar and poured concrete, are ironically less durable. Steel rusts and expands, cracking the concrete from within. In a few centuries, most of our skyscrapers will have collapsed into piles of rubble, their sharp angles softened by moss and time. As the first millennium closes, the surface of the earth bears few obvious signs of our reign. A future visitor would see a world teeming with life, perhaps more diverse than the one we left. Species that were on the brink of extinction, freed from human pressure, have rebounded. New species may have even begun to evolve, adapting to the strange, resource-rich ruins we left behind. The descendants of our domesticated animals have long since reverted to wildness. Flocks of feral chickens roam the undergrowth, and packs of dogs, their breeds blurred into a new, resilient canine form, hunt in the sprawling forests that were once Paris or Tokyo. But if this future visitor were a geologist, a being capable of reading the story written in the layers of the earth, they would find something extraordinary. Digging down, they would encounter a strange, thin stratum in the rock, a boundary line as distinct as the iridium layer that marks the death of the dinosaurs. This layer, the sediment of the Anthropocene, would tell a bizarre and complex story. It would be rich in novel materials. There would be a sudden global spike in nitrogen and phosphorus, the chemical ghosts of our agricultural fertilizers. There would be unnaturally high concentrations of lead, cadmium, and mercury, the toxic fallout of our industrial processes. And there would be plastic, Trillions upon trillions of microscopic plastic particles, the disintegrated remnants of our bottles, bags, and electronics, will have settled into the sediment of oceans, lakes, and rivers. In some places, particularly on coastlines, heat from volcanic activity or forest fires might have fused these plastic fragments with sand rock and shells, creating a new type of rock, a plastiglomerate. This synthetic stone, a permanent tombstone for our disposable culture, would be a clear and baffling sign of a civilization that produced materials the planet had never before seen. The geologist would also find a fossil record of mass extinction, a sudden disappearance of countless species alongside the explosive proliferation of a select few: cows, pigs, chickens. The sheer number of their fossilized bones would form a distinct biostratigraphic signal, a testament to our global-scale farming. Yet, even these powerful signals could, over immense spans of time, be misinterpreted. Perhaps a hyper-efficient natural process led to the nitrogen spike. Perhaps the plastiglomerates are the result of a strange unknown geological phenomenon. The mass extinction might be attributed to a supervolcano or an asteroid impact. These are stories the planet has told before. To find the one truly unambiguous, uniquely human signature, the geologist would need a different tool. Not a hammer and chisel, but a Geiger counter. 10,000 years after our disappearance, the world is physically free of us, but it is not free of our most potent legacy. The true and final monument to humanity is not made of stone or steel, but of unstable atoms. It is invisible, silent, and will outlast every pyramid, every statue, and every synthetic polymer we ever created. To understand this, we must travel back to a specific moment in our history. 5:29 a.m. on July 16, 1945. In the desert of New Mexico, at a site named Trinity, the first atomic bomb was detonated. In that single, searing flash, brighter than 1,000 suns, humanity did something unprecedented. We did not just create a new weapon. We created new elements and broadcast artificial radioactivity across the globe for the first time. That single event, followed by the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the hundreds of atmospheric nuclear tests conducted throughout the Cold War, fundamentally and permanently altered the radiometric background of our planet. Every living thing on Earth contains carbon, including a tiny, predictable amount of the radioactive isotope carbon-14. This is the basis of radiocarbon dating. When an organism dies, it stops taking in new carbon, and the carbon-14 begins to decay with a half-life of about 730 years. Scientists could use this clock to date organic remains from the past, but the nuclear age broke this clock. The bomb pulse of the 1950s and 60s injected a massive amount of artificial carbon-14 into the atmosphere, doubling the natural concentration. Any organic material from the post-bomb era is forever tagged with this artificial signature. 10,000 years from now, a future scientist could easily distinguish a tree that grew in 1965 from one that grew in 1865. This radioactive scar is a global timestamp of our existence, but carbon-14 is a short-term marker. The truly enduring signature comes from other, far more long-lived isotopes we created and spread. Plutonium-239, a key ingredient in many nuclear weapons and a byproduct of nuclear reactors, was virtually non-existent in nature before 1945. We created tons of it, with a half-life of 24,100 years. The plutonium we scattered into the atmosphere and buried in our nuclear waste sites will still be powerfully radioactive 10,000 years from now. More than half of it will still be there. It will take 241,000 years for it to decay to just 1/10 of its original radioactivity. Then there is uranium-235, the fuel for the Hiroshima bomb, with a half-life of 703 million years, and the waste products like iodine-129, with a half-life of 15.7 million years, and technetium-99, with a half-life of 211,000 years. These aren't just numbers, they are geological timescales. We have created substances that will outlast the current configuration of the continents. We have written a message in the very atomic structure of the planet, and the message will not fade. 10,000 years from now, our concrete cities will be grassy hills, our dams will be waterfalls, and our plastic will be a strange layer in the rock. But the radioactive isotopes will remain. A future intelligence exploring this lush, wild planet would find this signal everywhere. In the soil, in the ice cores of Antarctica, in the sediment at the bottom of the deepest ocean trench. They would find pockets of intense, lethal radiation around the corroded husks of our nuclear waste storage facilities. Places like Yucca Mountain or the Onkalo Repository in Finland, these sites, designed by us to last for 100,000 years, were our attempt to contain our own ghosts. Whether they succeed or fail, their contents will be the most durable evidence of our existence. This radioactive legacy is the only thing that cannot be mistaken for a natural phenomenon. No asteroid, no volcano, no natural geological process creates plutonium-239 and deposits it in a thin, global layer. It is a technosignature proof of a species that unlocked the power of the atom, and in doing so branded the entire planet. It is a profound irony. We sent the Voyager probes into the void, carrying golden records with our music, our languages, and our images, a hopeful message to the cosmos. We hoped that this elegant greeting card would be our legacy, but the Voyager probes are fragile messengers in an infinite ocean. The real, indelible, and perhaps eternal message was never sent out to the stars. It was buried here in the crust of our own world. It is a silent, radioactive ghost, a permanent echo of our brief, brilliant, and terrifying moment on Earth. 10,000 years from now, when all other traces of our existence have been worn away by wind and water, this atomic signature will be the only thing left. It is the final, undeniable testament to the fact that we were here.